everybody. Thank you all so much.
Friday.
I feel like I gotta get rid of these people.
We're having a meat party tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Meat party.
Thank you all so much for tuning into the PHNX Coyotes Podcast. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe wherever you get your podcast. Leave us a 5-star review. I'm Leah here with Craig, Petey, and Sean.
You know, in retrospect, I don't like what I just said because it doesn't sound so good.
Seriously?
Yeah.
You just hit
Just
you?
thought that. I mean,
Woo!
Shane,
Meat party.
Shane and Sean
Just
gave
hit
me a
you.
woo, but, you know, then I started thinking about it. I was like, what? A little awkward.
When is that?
Anyway.
Tonight, Petey.
Like, but when?
7.
Okay. 7?
So we're doing
7?
We're doing a.
So we're supposed to wait to eat food till 7? I have dinner at 5.
Are you aware that we have this app called Slack? Do you ever look in there?
I am not waiting
No?
to sit 7 o'clock to eat dinner.
So just for a peek behind the curtain, we're doing a PHNX party at Saul's house tonight.
Yeah, we'll post the address later.
Just, a little celebration of the team. And today is 2 years since the day I met Petey and Craig for the very first time.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
I didn't know that. I
Yeah.
feel ashamed that I didn't know that.
It's okay.
I mean, I remember our launch date, but
Yep. Nope. 2 years ago today I met these two. It feels like it's been a lot longer. So it's not a bad thing. I'm just saying.
It's true.
Just
Okay.
saying.
All right, sure.
All right. Well, we
Okay.
have a lot to get into today. We're going to talk a lot about
I feel like I've known Petey for 50 years. It's,
captaincies, whether or not you should have one, whether or not the Coyotes will or should or could. We'll get into all of that. But before we do, there's a unfortunate piece of hockey news to talk about. And we're going to give some of the spotlight to Sean on this one.
I wish we had an actual spotlight.
I
for
know, a Buffalo Sabres fan, but
He glows.
yeah, there was an unfortunate passing in the hockey community. And Sean, I'm just gonna, the floor is yours.
Yeah. So obviously, I'm sure most people in hockey saw that Rick Jeanneret passed away yesterday. He's the longtime commentator for the Buffalo Sabres for my entire life. And he's the reason I fell in love with hockey. Like, I don't know if a lot of people realize this, but like when I was a kid, the Sabres were like the good team. The Sabres were awesome. They kept making the playoffs. They were like cup contenders, and the Bills were terrible. So it was very much a hockey town growing up. So the reason I love sports is because of Rick Jeanneret. I was just telling some people that like when I was a kid in like elementary school and stuff like that, like we would be, or like playing street hockey with friends, like we would all pretend to be Rick Jeanneret and replicate his calls and stuff like that. And there's just so many, like he's so ingrained in Buffalo sports culture to the point where you play bubble hockey. And when you go to overtime, like it's his voice that plays. It's his iconic, we're going to overtime. Like he's just so iconic. He's the reason, like I said, the reason I fell in love with sports. So it's obviously a very tough loss for the Buffalo sports community and for hockey as a whole. Because if you haven't had a chance to listen to his calls, he is an iconic just sports commentator. It doesn't matter where you're from or what sport. Like he is unbelievable at his job. So it's definitely a tough loss.
I like the way the Sabres put it, the narrator of Sabres memories, right?
Yeah, he is. Yeah. If you look at anything you go to look for Sabres, like Sabres history, it's his voice. Like my favorite moment in Sabres history was a bench clearing brawl between the Sabres and the Ottawa Senators, where Ray Emery, who was a boxer, started beating up on our goalie Marty Biron at the time, and guys were getting like, bench clearing brawl. Lindy Ruff was yelling at the coach, almost tearing down the glass. Rob Ray had to cover up his mic in between the thing, and it's Rick Jeanneret's voice yelling the whole time. And it's he really is the narrator of Buffalo hockey.
For me, it's interesting. Like, I think, and this isn't a knock to today's broadcasters, but today's broadcasters all kind of sound the same. Like a real clean voice.
Just
and
that polished radio voice.
Polished radio voice. But you go back to like Rick Jeanneret, it was his voice. You go back to Coyotes, it was Kurt Keelback. And you have, for me, it was, even Sam Rosen has the voice, but for me, Danny Gallivan and Bob Cole way back on Hockey Night in Canada. They had a really distinct and unique voice. And with Rick Jeanneret, like you knew when he was calling a game, like his excitement for his team, his love for his team, his knowledge of the game, and most importantly, his passion and his voice, you knew who he was. And you identify that voice with the Buffalo Sabres, and
it's a shame
it is
that's
sad.
been lost, huh?
Yeah, it is.
It's like a lost art, and there's journalism schools so concerned with just getting that polished sound
with no accents, no voices, no differentiators. And I think what I've noticed is I'll hear on a YouTube clip or something. I'll hear Bob Cole or Danny Gallivan, and those are like I'm talking when I was 8, 9, 10, when I was a little kid, and I'll go, oh. it reminds me of watching hockey with my dad. And so
Pat Foley with the
for
Blackhawks,
Sean,
same.
20 years from now, Sean's going to be sitting there with his brood of kids, and they're going to go, oh, there's a Rick Jeanneret call. And then he can tell those stories, and it does live on, and it's really sad. So I feel for the Buffalo Sabres and their fans today.
Yep. And we have one of those iconic calls for maybe those who haven't heard before. This is one of many.
I chose this one because it's got a Coyotes reference.
Yep. Sean did drop a link in the chat of some of his most iconic calls, but
which has more Coyotes references.
Yes.
Yes.
But we'll go ahead and play this one because it's very iconic.
Up to LaFontaine, he gets tripped up, gets it to May, and over the line. Here's May going in on goal. He shoots. He scores!
Awesome.
Buffalo sweeps the Bruins is a great sentence. But there really are so many. Like the other iconic one is the la 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 Fontaine. Like he has so many. And I was like, the top shelf where Mama hides the cookies was so iconic to me. Like that was how you referred to a shot that went top cheddar, was top shelf where Mama hides the cookies. Like he is so much of what I know about hockey is because of Rick Jeanneret, to be quite honest.
Well, rest in peace, and thinking of his family, friends, and the Buffalo sports and hockey community today. So cheers and great sentiment, Sean. Thank you for sharing. Okay, well, we're going to there might be a debate today. I did locate the sign. Oh my God, I can't pick it up. The famed Quiet Please sign is making its long-awaited debut.
Yeah. We're considering getting Leah a referee shirt as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've seen your comments in the Discord, by the way. I'm in agreement. But there's been a lot of discussion over the last few seasons, but especially this summer, about captaincy, because the Arizona Coyotes do not have one and haven't had one since Oliver Ekman-Larsson in 2021. So it's been 2 full years since the Coyotes have had a captain. We have the history of Coyotes captains here, and this is in Arizona history.
Yeah,
so since
and
moving
not
to Arizona.
interims, like guys who filled in for a little bit either, which has happened in their history. Sorry.
Yeah. So since moving to Arizona in 1996, Keith Tkachuk was captain 96 to 2001. From 2001 to 2003, Teppo Numminen was captain. Shane Doan took over 2003 to 2017.
When they moved to Glendale, he took over.
Yeah, obviously the longest tenured captain in Coyotes history. And then OEL took charge 2018 to 2021. And as I mentioned, we've been without a captain since then. A lot of people have discussed Clayton Keller. A lot of people have discussed Lawson Krause.
Mm-hmm.
You can make an argument for any of those guys, but will they even name a captain? You kind of have a little tidbit from
and this is not new. I mean, I keep saying this, but people keep saying Keller's going to be named captain. Keller's going to be named captain. No, he's not. Andre's going without a captain. Andre believes more in a leadership group. Now, he hasn't closed the door on the idea of having a captain, but he said, I want to see it develop organically. You can make the argument that it might be developing organically with Clayton Keller. We'll see, especially because he's come out of his shell quite a bit. He's much more vocal. He's much more comfortable with media. He's much more comfortable speaking up than he was for the early part of his career. But Andre does believe in a leadership by committee approach. And I have to say, I think there are a lot of merits. I think we get way too hung up on a single leader. A lot of times, to me, like the need for a single leader, it's just about ego and status. Like it's not that important. You can have a group of people leading it. It can be like a coalition. You can come to an agreement as a group, rather than having one guy decide. There are instances, however, where, in my opinion, the leadership, the C becomes obvious. Shane Doan is the most obvious example. I don't even know that Shane Doan necessarily wanted to be a leader. To me, those are the best leaders, the ones that aren't seeking it. He just has the qualities that make him a great leader, and he is one of those. In my mind, when I look back on the history of NHL captains, he is one of the guys that defines what that C should be about.
When did this come in where we can't have captains anymore? When did this start? Like, Bobby Clark was a captain. He was a captain of the team. You have a captain. It doesn't mean that other people can't lead. We had Brad Richardson in here the other day. Not a captain, leader. Doesn't need a letter. There's captains, there's leaders in a locker room that don't wear letters. I don't understand what the big hang up is on naming captains.
Why do you need the C then if you could have other guys lead?
Because by definition and league rules, you need a captain to discuss issues with the referee on the ice. You can have 1 C and 2 A's or 3 A's, but that is the only player designated. Make the guy that leads your team the captain. I don't see the problem. Doesn't need to be your best player. I agree with that. You go through the list of guys that are captains right now.
Yeah.
There are a lot of them that aren't the best player on their team. But I think in the locker room, you need the defined, he's our guy. He's our guy. And we can have a group of, Rick Tocchet had a group of 8 guys on the leadership committee. And whenever there was a team meeting or a players meeting, all 8 of those guys came in, all 8 of them. And it was around a table, a wooden table in the coach's room. And it was, okay, guys, this is the topic today. Do we want to have today off or tomorrow off? You guys decide. And it was a group. Now, if there was somebody that needed to come in and say, the plane's leaving at 1. God, we'd really like to leave at 2 because of whatever. You need the captain. Come in, knock on the coach's door and go, hey, all the guys, I'm the voice of the team. I'm the guy that's representing the team with the coaching staff. I'm the guy. I am their captain. I'm their voice. I'm knocking on your door. Here's the request on behalf of the team. I'm the sole leader. I don't understand why it's so difficult to name that. Now, here's the caveat. You have a player like Shane Doan leaving, Patrice Bergeron leaving, Ryan Getzlaf leaving, that has been a captain for a decade and or more, that is the face of that team. In reverence, in honor, in, hey, we got to find who that natural leader is. We've got to see who rises to that position where we're not automatically handing it off. Take the year off. I'm all for that. I get that. We got to find who that leader is. If you and I know, we're sitting in the studio, we know who the captain of that team is. I know who the captain of that team is. It's Clayton Keller. And it's not because he's the best player. It's because he's evolved into, if things are going to get done, it's Clayton Keller. He's the leader. Now, we thought at some point it might be Christian Fischer. And I believe Christian Fischer, if he were to stay here, he's the kind of guy you want to be a leader, even though he might be a 3rd or 4th line player. Still a leader. Krause, a leader. Should wear an A. Absolutely without a doubt. But Clayton Keller is the captain of this team. And whether they put a C on him or not, if I'm in that room as a player, as a coach, as a staff member, the captain is Clayton Keller. So I don't understand why it has to be this by committee. And when you look through the teams that don't have guys, it's those ones that graduated a long time captain, like Getzlaf in Anaheim, that doesn't have a captain. Or
we have the list.
That graphic
we have the full list
Yeah.
of there's 9 NHL teams without a captain currently. Anaheim, Arizona, Boston as of like a month ago, Calgary, Philadelphia, Seattle, St. Louis, Winnipeg, and Vancouver. These are all the teams without a captain. Winnipeg, we know there was a change just made.
Yeah. Boston, obviously, but some of those teams are not, right? Some of those teams are not an example of, they just lost a
No,
major
some of
leader.
these teams haven't had, obviously Seattle's new to the league.
Yeah, Seattle's new. And Calgary went from Giordano for 7 years, and they've been absent for 2 years as well. Like They had a guy, Giordano was a captain for nearly a decade following Jerome McGinley. So
St. Louis.
And who is
Pietrangelo?
St. Louis was Ryan O'Reilly for
Ryan
4
O'Reilly.
years, Pietrangelo for 4 years, David Backes for 5, Brewer before that. So you're right. They went from 22-23. Ryan O'Reilly was their captain. They need a new captain because of his moving on. And I think they probably will name one. I don't think Ryan O'Reilly's a guy that's, he's the captain. Like on Pronger? Okay. Yeah, that's a guy. Well, you may take a year off. Ryan O'Reilly, you're not taking him. They'll name a captain.
Yeah.
You wait and see. Vancouver was Bo Horvat. He's moved on, and that was moved on just this year. Do I see them having a captain? Honestly, because Rick Tocchet's the head coach? No. I don't think they'll pick a captain this year either. I think they'll take a year off because he'll want to see, just like he did with Oliver, who's going to come in. And with Winnipeg, we know what happened there with Blake Wheeler. Captain for a long time. He gone.
You got anything?
Like my opinion?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I'm somewhere in the middle because I totally understand André Tourigny's approach to having a leadership group, and I think that's awesome. But I also think, like Petey said, you can still have that leadership group and have that designated person. Petey literally found the rule book on captains because we were curious, like, is there an actual concrete advantage or pro to having a captain? And I mean, there is one in that he's the only one who can discuss
by league rule that
Yeah.
can,
But you could have an A do the same thing.
an A can do the same thing. That is correct.
But you look at a team like the Pittsburgh Penguins, who have the longest tenured captain current in the NHL, and Sidney Crosby since 2007. Sidney Crosby, he's the face of that team. He's the leader of that team, and I think he would be whether he had the C or not.
Right.
But him having that, I just think it just automatically applies that voice. I'm okay with the Coyotes not having a captain right now, because as we've mentioned, it's kind of clear who that guy is. But I don't know. There is something about it I like. I think, you make the argument about ego, but I think in hockey, it's like it's the most team collective sport of all of the major
I'm
sports.
going to share my wife's opinion with you in a minute.
It's hockey. It's always, here's what we did. Here's how it affects the team. It's not, how some other sports are where it's me and I. I don't know. I'm really split down the middle on this one.
Yeah.
I can go either way. And if André Tourigny was sitting here, I'm sure he would give such a compelling argument that
He would say that one needs to emerge organically, and it has to be obvious, and it has to be unanimous.
I agree
That's what
that
he
you
would say.
shouldn't just name one for the sake of naming
like Oliver
one.
Ekman-Larsson.
Yeah,
honestly.
Totally take your time. I'm fine with it. But I love the tradition of the captain receiving the Stanley Cup in the handoff first. There's always that captain. So the cup, and looking at that list of teams without captains, I mean, the one thing is none of those teams besides Boston, who obviously Patrice Bergeron just retired, it's so fresh, but none of those teams are this is a cup contending team. So I don't know what that says about that list, but I just thought that was an interesting observation. That
DP, you got anything?
Oh, I'm not going to give any kind of intelligent contribution here. I just want a fucking captain. As a hockey fan, I just want my team to have a guy with the C. Kind of like what Leah was you don't see teams without captains. You don't see someone without a letter lifting up a cup first. That doesn't happen. You don't see someone with an A lift up the cup first. I'm probably wrong. That probably has happened recently. But in my mind, the teams that succeed have a guy that wears a C. Because for me, it's not even so much about him being the captain. It's the captain is the guy that has been there and is the leader, I guess, in a lot of ways. So it's more about what having a captain means about the team as opposed to just having a captain for having a captain. Good teams have captains in my mind.
17 of the 32 right now were drafted by and played for that franchise. So it's the guy that is your emboldened.
I think that's important too.
That
to
you're
bring
that
up.
franchise.
People have talked about, I saw it in the Discord today. If Austin Matthews comes in, make him the captain. I don't think you import a captain unless it's some really powerful personality like a Ryan O'Reilly.
Or John Tavares,
Yeah.
and what happened with that.
Yeah, Patrice Bergeron goes to another team. He's wearing a C.
I'd like to point out that the Sabres' current captain is Kyle Okposo. Before that, it was Jack Eichel.
Oof.
So it also can go very, very poorly. Kind of like Rudo was referencing.
And Rudo said that too, though, in San Jose, where they went from Thornton to Pavelski. That was a big problem. And it's happened in other teams. It happened in Dallas when they had to move their captaincy. And it's hard to make that move, or when you have to ship out a captain, or when the captain gets less ice time. I get all those things. There's other sports. Football puts a little C on their jersey, right? Baseball, I've seen 2 or 3 teams put a C on their jersey. What is their job function? Hockey has in the rule book, here is your job function. But is that what a captain really does? No. It's important in the game. The captain does everything. And when I say everything,
liaison with the staff, he's
yes.
Yeah.
When we're saying, hey, there's a team dinner tomorrow, who's going to organize that? With the captain. Where we're going, what we're doing, how much we're going to spend, what the limited menu is. I mean, sure, Griff's going to help a little bit. He'll complain and bitch, the travel guy, but he'll do it. The captain is the one that does those things. If their players are pissed about anything, that's the representative that goes to the coaching staff. Or if they need to do anything as a group, it goes through the captain. The captain is not just the leader on the ice. He is literally the leader of the group in the locker room. I think the team needs one. I understand having a group of leaders. I love having that. I think it's important to have a leadership group with veteran players and young players and forwards and defense. And I think a goalie needs to be in that group as well. I think everybody needs a voice, but I still believe that you're not diminishing the leadership of the many by granting the leadership to one.
I wish I had recorded Tara's response when I asked her this question this morning, so I'm only paraphrasing. I wish I had the actual
HK?
No.
Oh.
What she said is, oh, men are so adorable. They really feel the need to have an alpha. You can't think outside your little box of leadership and how leadership should look. You need your single leader all the time. You have such fragile egos.
That's hilarious.
Not
That's
wrong.
what Tara said to me this morning. I
Not
was like,
wrong.
okay.
Sorry, but the most compelling argument so far was made by Pikeman Adventure in the chat, who said, "Give us a captain. I need to see the crescent moon logo."
Buddy, they designed those jerseys with that C
That
logo.
would look sweet.
Fire, they don't have it.
So-
Also,
looks
wasn't the Desert Knights jersey designed to have like a C,
Yes.
but we have never actually
Yes,
seen
so
that?
That's the
this,
moon.
this is
Oh, it was
the
the moon.
most
Okay.
compelling argument I've seen for a captain all day.
It's not a good reason to have a
And
captain,
also-
but it would
No.
look sweet.
From
It
an
is.
ownership and like you'll sell more jerseys. If you put a C on Keller's jerseys, now people are going to have to go buy a Keller
Yes.
jersey with a C on it.
Absolutely.
Sean is playing 3D chess.
Also,
Once they
I just-
heard that, I tell you, once you just said that, they may make an extra $20, buddy. By 5 o'clock tonight, there'll be a press release. It's done. That's all you had to do.
I just want to go back. I kind of changed my opinion. Like naming a captain just to have a captain is a joke because I'm looking at the Sabres history of captains and it is absolutely horrific. First off, Daniel Briere was a captain, so talk about an import becoming a captain. But
Mhm.
Brian Giunta was a multi-year captain for the Buffalo Sabres. Sabres legend. Steve Ott was a Sabre. Craig Rivet. Like Jochen
important.
Hesch.
That's an important piece of this discussion too. There been a lot of bad captains.
Yeah.
A lot of like, what? Why was he the captain?
Again, though, why bad, though? Or bad because they're a bad player?
No.
Or bad person? Like,
Bad because he wasn't necessarily a leader.
I mean, Daniel Briere being like I was a kid, but didn't feel like the leader of those Sabres teams. He was there for like, what, 4 years? Like, I don't know. He was the star. Like him and Drury were the faces, but
Interesting.
I don't know. That just seems weird to me.
Okay.
So the other thing I like, though, is I like the idea of having multiple alternate captains because I think that grows your base. And I think what the team
Like
used to do when I was
rotating
there,
base?
they'd have two. They're sewn in. Well, actually, there's a Velcro thing, but that's beside the point. They have two in the blacks, two in the whites, and they're different. So when you wear the whites, it's these two guys. When you wear the blacks, it's
I
these
like
two
that
guys.
too.
Yeah.
And Stan does have sewing skills, as we know.
He's phenomenal,
Yeah.
by the way. Yeah.
Yes.
And Tony's not bad. But then you could have 6 that way. You have 2 in the reds, 2 in the greens, 2 in the orange,
you
2 in the
could-
blues.
yeah,
Shit, as many as you want. Let's fire them out there.
Great. I like that idea.
It's communism.
So if André Tourigny walked in the room right now and said, "I'm going to name a captain tomorrow and it's up to you guys," are we all in agreement that it would be Clayton
Yes.
Keller?
Yes.
And I'll go a step further. 1 year ago today, I wouldn't have said that.
Not a chance.
I was Team Kraus.
Same.
Same.
Agreed.
So there is there goes his point of a leader emerging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Keller's
but is it too
emerging.
soon?
Well, it might. We're not we don't know
I
anything.
don't mind waiting out this year and seeing what happens.
Yep.
And if he really cements it, fine, then go with
Yep.
Clayton Keller as your captain.
Yeah. The chat's talking about Jamie Benn as a cautionary tale of maybe not the best leader.
Didn't he big time mess up in the playoffs? Didn't he do something real stupid?
Yeah,
Yeah,
where he put
he-
a stick through a guy's throat.
Yeah.
and
Yep.
Got suspended.
Yeah.
Yeah, that. Well, he's just
Captain, my
falling,
captain.
bracing himself from the fall. Yeah, and that's a situation where a captain he was more important than the team, and that's a guy that's probably not a leader.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not sacrificing your own needs for those of the team, you're probably not the leader. And the other one I want to say about, especially with youth teams and high school teams, if you have to have your mom call saying you should be the captain, buddy, look in the mirror, you're not the captain.
I don't know. Maybe this is a hot take.
Because that's a thing.
I am not a fan of your best player being your captain.
I just said that.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Can be.
It can
Yeah,
be.
100%. Yeah,
I mean,
but
Patrice Bergeron was the Bruins' best
Sidney
player.
Crosby.
Yeah,
Sidney
but
Crosby is
yeah.
Penguins' best
yeah,
player.
he's the longest tenured captain in
Yes.
hockey, right? Yeah, but something about Keller doesn't feel right to me. I don't know how to explain it, but it just he doesn't. That just feels like naming the best player the leader in my mind.
And listen, and I agree with Petey that he has emerged as a guy that he's sort of the go-to guy. He does organize a lot of things in that room, but I'm not 100% on board with that yet. Where it's obvious this guy should be the C. I think he needs to prove it for another year. I really do. And maybe that's what Andre's thinking too. Okay, you showed me something this year. You really emerged. Let's see consistency with it. Let's see you do it over a period of time, because that's what I think you need from a captain.
Yeah. And one thing about André Tourigny is he's a patient man and he's not going to make a rash
He doesn't care what other people think.
decision.
But I think
no,
this
he
is
does
a-
not.
this is
I
new,
don't
though.
want to say it like that because he is a collaborative coach. He absolutely
He doesn't care what
takes
we
input,
think
but yeah, he doesn't care what
Oh.
we think. He
On
doesn't
this
care what
matter.
fans think.
But-
Yes.
But it just
on this matter.
It's just new. It's part of that culture of, hey, you all get a trophy. Everybody's a leader. Bullshit. But when Keith Tkachuk left, who was the captain of this franchise, and he leaves, Teppo Numminen is your next captain. Do you think Teppo Numminen held a candle? No offense to Teppo, because he's a great, quiet captain. Do you think he was Keith Tkachuk?
Nope.
Nowhere near.
Nope.
Teppo Numminen leaves the next year. Shane Doan.
Yep.
Like it happens league wide. I don't know what it is now that it's everybody. We gotta spend a year to recognize Joe Thornton. I do.
I don't think it's
then why did we do it
everybody
before?
Gets a trophy. I think it's broadening our idea of leadership. I think it's evolving.
We still only have one head coach, and we'll have a head coach the next year. We don't have no head coaches because everybody's got to be the leader. We have a head fucking coach.
Honestly,
name a captain.
There's good arguments on both sides. Let us know in the chat what you think, whose side you lean more toward. Doesn't matter to have a captain, and if so, who you
and if you
would
do
like
have it,
to
who should do it? Is it the coach's pick? Is it the GM pick? Or is it the team?
I like Andre's idea that it should be unanimous. Everybody has to agree this is the guy. It can't be like handpicked by the GM, which we saw was a mistake. John Chaika promised it before Rick Tocchet ever arrived.
Yep.
And that was a mistake. That's not the GM's place to name a captain.
Agreed.
Yeah, but I do believe that it should be a consensus. And I don't know that you take a vote because that's weird, but you should have a sense. You should have your finger on the pulse of the team to understand who the players think is the leader, who the management thinks is the leader, and who the coaching staff thinks is the leader. And then when you get to that point, okay, there's our guy.
I personally am pro players voting. I feel like if I was a player, that would mean more if my teammates selected me as captain.
It's also a potentially divisive exercise.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it's got to be a closed vote. Like, I don't think you can, like, maybe the coach is counting the votes or something like that. I don't, because that could get easily pretty problematic if someone's winning by a vote or something like that.
Right.
But I think in general, if it is a little more secretive, if I was a player,
what
it would
happens
mean
if
a
the
lot.
vote's like there's a one vote divide, there's two guys? What do you do then?
I think you got to go Hayes at that point.
Or do you
rotate
say,
the
hey,
seat?
we're not ready to have
Do
a
you
captain?
think right now you took a 25-man vote inside the Arizona Coyotes locker room and it would be close enough to be one vote? No fucking chance.
No, probably not.
Zero chance.
But I don't want to say that definitively because I don't know for certain. I don't know for certain.
Zero chance.
I'm not in the room.
Well,
it's not going to be one vote. I'm telling you right now, if they picked a captain, if you give every guy in that team a vote, Clayton Keller's coming out of your captain.
This has been a very interesting discussion and one that
Can we
will
put up that graphic? We did already.
Yeah,
the
we
Coyotes
did.
captains
Yeah,
in
we
history.
did.
Yeah,
We
okay.
did.
Sorry, Dan, I swore a few times.
You're
I
spicy.
Potty
try
mouth.
not to drink coffee today.
Petey potty mouth.
All right. We're moving on. I'm using the sign.
You know what you should have? You should have a 4 piece.
I was gonna say the one thing we can all
brilliant.
agree on. We might be disagreeing. Oh, he's literally getting up to get one. We might not all agree on the captain conversation, but we all agree that Four Peaks is the best beer. Maybe not just in Arizona, but the country. Petey is.
Wow. Yeah.
What do you? Okay, he
How old are
has
you?
a golden lager in his hand right now. Is that what you've decided? Yep. Okay, he's coming back with a golden lager.
A single golden lager.
Great choice.
Didn't bring you one. Didn't bring
It's
me
okay.
one. Just saying.
Because we haven't had captains. We're all in this together. If I was a captain, I'd have brought 3.
The beers will be flowing tonight at the. I was gonna say the meat party. I went
Tara,
against it. The
That's what
barbecue.
you're talking about right there, Tara. Fragile ego.
Oh my god! No, let me finish. Four Peaks. I'm gonna buy some Four Peaks. Bring it to Saul's later. It's gonna be a great party. Everybody enjoy some Four Peaks this weekend. It looks like it's gonna be a little bit cooler, and by cooler I mean under 100 this weekend. So kick back, relax, enjoy a Four Peaks beer, and you can check out at Four Peaks Brew or at Four Peaks Pub to keep up with the latest at Arizona's hometown brewery. You must be 21 or older to drink Four Peaks, and please drink responsibly. This would be a great weekend to hit the golf course because
Seriously.
it's not going to be like stifling.
And it's overcast.
It's overcast. It's perfect. And if you're out on the course, make sure you check out pinsandaces.com. Make sure you got all of the best gear around. They have amazing, amazing golf apparel, sweat resistant too. If you're out there sweating, like it's breathable, it's nice, and they have amazing styles. I've been getting emails of some of their new designs. Great stuff. And of course, the beer sleeve keeps your beers cold on the golf course. So make sure you grab that as well. You can check out pinsandaces.com and use code PHNX to receive 15% off your order and get free shipping. That's pinsandaces.com. The Watt said, Petey's grumpy. He's not in his hammock with his shady rays and a wink.
He's not lying.
But you are wearing your wink shirt.
I wore my wing shirt.
Great.
And you know what made that hammock thing? What made it all come together was the mister.
Yeah.
And Wiley.
And
Well,
why?
Wiley came out to
Getting a
take
glimpse of
peek.
Wiley. Yeah.
But yeah, without the mystery, I couldn't have done it. But yeah, that you're right.
I still got to get that mister, by the way.
Me too.
There's a story about that. I'll tell you later.
Oh, buddy, I have many stories about misters.
Yeah, we'll
They're
tell
all
you
bad.
after.
All right. Well, see, now, time for another debate. Hopefully, this one we're a little bit
one's
more in
pretty easy.
agreement. The NHL 24 video game cover was
Mhm.
released this week. Cale Makar will be the cover athlete, which I think is very well deserved. Very cool for him. I love what.
That's something. Never mind.
I don't know. I think it's cool to see who's the cover athlete every year. I liked what they did last year, having a women's hockey player
Yep.
as well. I know this group isn't necessarily a fan of Trevor Zegras, but I do think he is kind of that young guy. I think it's funny because Cale Makar is also young, but a completely different personality.
Yeah.
So it was an interesting choice. But it kind of got me thinking. I don't think a Coyote is going to be on the cover of NHL anytime soon, as in the next 3 years. But if a Coyote were to be on the cover of NHL soon,
2 candidates.
who would it be and why?
Only 2 candidates.
I agree. There's only 2 candidates.
I think there's only one.
Well, right now there's only one.
Well,
No,
Logan Cooley?
I think Logan Cooley is the only option.
Clayton
it-
Keller,
over the
Clayton
next 3
Keller, if he
years-
took another step, could be there.
If he
Logan
was like
Cooley's-
100-point guy,
Yeah.
I think maybe you can get Keller in that conversation. But I mean, the Zegras thing it shows in my mind that they don't really. It's not really about performance necessarily. It's just about being young and fun and like trying to sell the game. And I think Clayton being such a quiet guy and not being as well known, like Cooley has a little bit more.
I love the Trevor
clout
Zegras
coming
shade
in.
on this show. The consistent Trevor
Well, I mean,
Zegras
it's
shade.
true. If we're doing this based off of performance, there's no way in hell Trevor Zegras is even a top 5 candidate to be on the NHL cover last
It's
year.
true.
But that's clearly not what they go for. So
Yep, marketability, right? You need a guy who pops, a guy it could even be controversial, right? But a guy who has a profile, has a significant profile. Most of these guys are stars, though, when you start looking back through the history of who's been on the cover. But
It's for sure. I'd like to see O'Brien on the cover. I think that'd be cool. Looking with his hair
The
falling
beard.
down
the
and the
Fight
beard.
Night
That'd be
edition, because
fantastic.
they always
Fight
sell
Night
like
edition?
5 different
Fire.
editions of the game. So
Like,
just
that'd be
like
fire.
the Fight Night edition. just have-
Personality, buddy. It's Cooley, and Keller. I agree, but Cooley is cool. I'm telling you, Cooley's going to be the face of this thing in a hurry. Doesn't mean he's a captain, but he's going
Best
to be the face
prospect
of
in
this
the
thing
world,
in a hurry.
haven't you heard?
And
He's
also,
going to be the
like,
face of this in a hurry.
he's like kind of a celebrity. He
Already.
played at Minnesota hockey.
Yeah.
Like that.
But he-
Yeah,
Minnesota,
he already
instead of
has
ours.
that.
that
Like,
means something.
Was
Yeah.
a Coyote ever on the cover?
Well,
I know the answer.
Yep.
I don't know if it's EA Sports, but on a cover of a video game,
I mean,
the answer is
10
yes.
bucks,
Vodka Denmark edition in NHL 10.
Keith Tkachuk.
Yeah.
Keith Tkachuk was in 97, 98. The interesting tidbit, and if somebody can find this, I have it somewhere. They filmed a commercial of Keith Tkachuk at America West Arena for the cover. It was for the video game. They needed somebody to play goal
No
in the
way.
commercial. Who was the goalie?
You.
Me.
get the hell out. That's
San
awesome.
Jose Sharks
Somebody
gear.
find this.
I wore San Jose Sharks gear,
No.
and they paid me
You
$500.
have got to find this. You have
$500
got
bucks
find
to
this.
be in. I don't know if it exists because it was before social media. Like
We've
I have it on
mentioned
VHS
this before, but like for people who don't remember this, Petey was the practice goalie for the Coyotes for several seasons. I would.
Yeah, back when I was younger, I don't think I could pull it off quite now.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank God for Sean Burke 'cause he didn't want to play. He was an old man. He said, "Buddy, I'm not going out there today. Go ahead." So I got out there all the time. We'll save a story about that someday.
So
I have a story.
when the game was out there, what form was it in? Like
It wasn't DVDs yet. It was,
Was
the
it a VHS?
cassette. It was the cassette
Oh, it was a
thing.
cassette.
You
Not
know
a VH
those
not
thick
VHS?
things.
Cartridge.
Cartridge.
Okay.
You got to blow in him.
What's
You
that?
got to blow in it when it doesn't
oh
work.
Yeah, it was the cartridge.
Okay.
But he was wearing the black sweater, and I had a
hilarious.
San Jose Sharks gear.
I will
That's fantastic.
say the one thing I did like that they did last year was including Sarah Nurse on the cover.
Yeah.
I think it's
Yep.
so just for like young girls to walk in a store and see a woman on the cover of
Agreed.
a video game is so significant. So they didn't do that this year. I hope they continue to do that.
I think that's
it's really
helped.
great.
I think that's helped progress the women's game. I really do. Something again, we just talk about representation helps, you emulate and helps that sport grow. Kudos to EA Sports for including the women. I show Pounders doing the voice right now. They're doing some recording on the voices. So I think things like that are incredibly important.
Tenply said Sean Burke could coach even Petey to a cup. I'm convinced.
Speaking of that, I got more stuff. Make a note of Sean Burke. We got to talk about that on another show.
All right. And another question, then we're just like doing a lot of hypotheticals today, but why not? We saw that the Coyotes released all of the new players.
Their numbers.
All the new numbers, yes.
Mhm.
There is a change from Prosvetov is going from number 50 to number 1.
Yeah, NHL numbers. You can follow that Twitter account. To
Yeah.
get all that info.
Fun stuff. We obviously found out Logan Cooley will be 92, which was important for some people in our chat who accidentally ordered 18 and
Pre-purchased
quickly
18.
returned.
Whoops.
Kate received her Logan Cooley 92
That's fire.
jersey already. Saw that on Twitter. Who do you guys think will have the best-selling Coyotes jersey this season? Logan Cooley?
Logan Cooley.
I agree.
Yeah.
Wow.
Cooley
it's a new
92.
era. It's a new
So
era.
what does that internally do to the locker room? Just Keller's like, F that. Like, buddy,
Well, I think Sean's
bringing
thing
it.
about adding
Well,
the
we'll
C.
see. We'll see what it does to the
Yeah.
locker room.
it
We'll
does.
see what your anointed
my thing
captain,
does.
how he
I'll
responds
see
to
how
that
he responds
situation.
to
Okay.
I will see.
Oh
I will see.
boy.
But I think he does, and I think Keller's right in there. I think Bugstead, of course, will
Unless
be
you're
another.
Altex, because Altex is
Well, who's he
ordering the
prepping?
most
Cassian.
obscure. Yeah.
He's going
Like
to
people
be,
were
I thought he
complaining
got
there were
Bugstead.
jerseys of players available that aren't even with the team anymore. I remember this a couple weeks ago in the Discord. They were complaining about that. Like you go to the team shop and it's all these guys that aren't with the team anymore. So
You can-
I don't know if that's changed. 'cause
Remember,
I
you
don't
could get a
go.
Brett Hull jersey like literally for years, or Hall, Taylor
So-
Hall jerseys.
I'm glad you brought that up because that segues to the last thing I want to ask you guys. Which jerseys should still be available in the team shop, including like
Shane
Doan.
Doan.
archive guys? Yeah, Shane Doan should always be available.
I think
right?
Keith Kachuk.
Yep.
Keith Kachuk,
Jeremy
Roenick.
always should be available. And I'm gonna.
Those three.
I
Yeah.
really still think that they should embrace and have fun with the Legends Corner as well. I would love to see a Coyotes Marian Hossa jersey, Pavel Datsuk.
How about
Here's
how
the Jacob
about,
Voracek one.
See, there you go, Voracek.
In the
It's beautiful.
in
Shea
on the
Weber.
website.
how about
Kemper.
Pronger.
There's a Kemper one.
how about a Paul Bissonnette sweater?
Yeah,
Yeah.
people would buy that.
Yeah. That's so funny that Voracek is in here multiple times.
Did you hear where it's from?
PD's getting a call from Houston.
Houston. Relocation rumors.
Houston, we have a problem.
Relocation rumors. They're calling me right now.
Oh
Um,
my god.
Yeah, I think that would, and I put Bissonnette into that Legends corner with those other names. I think I would
He's a legend in his own
I
right,
would
for
lean
sure.
into that
Completely.
all day.
Why wouldn't you? Can you
Hell
imagine?
yeah.
Yes.
Why?
Well-
And here's a really dumb question. They can't they? Like they
Yeah, they were
players.
members of the team. They were actual members of the team. So you could even have a Patty Kane one there. He was a
Shea
Coyote
Weber
for a
6 and a
millisecond.
Coyote. They should. It's
Yeah, it'd be
brilliant.
great. They just need a goal.
Or how about a T-shirt with all the legends on it and sell
Oh,
that?
that would be fun.
yeah, I don't know why they don't.
Javier,
I don't
I
know
hope
why they
Javier's
haven't
watching our
embraced
show
it.
today,
I
There you go,
don't know
Javier.
why they haven't
the
embraced
Legends T-shirt.
We
Love
are we are pitching a lot of good stuff today. Major Nelson it was one of our diehards tweeted a year ago a Pavel Datsuk Coyotes jersey.
this. Make it happen.
Incredible, just incredible.
Don't be so buttoned up. Don't be so uptight. Embrace it. Have fun with it. People like fun. Be a fun league.
Yes. Yep. Absolutely. All right. Well, this has been a fun conversation today. A little Friday fun day before we get into our last usual segment. One of my favorite parts about Friday, besides our Friday Fun Day shows, is I get a bonus bet on BetMGM every Friday. It's true. I always forget about it. It's always a surprise because I look down at my phone and I have a push notification. Your bonus bet, it's waiting for you. Like, it's just there. I just have to go get it. That's what's great about BetMGM. They're always trying to give you free money, free ways to win. So go claim your bonus bet right now on BetMGM. As it is Friday, you have all weekend to redeem. And if you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, do so with the bonus code PHNX. There's a few different offers depending on where you live, but for our Arizona audience, place your first bet offer and receive up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if it loses. PD is doing this literally as we speak. You can check out the show notes for full details. And now listen to Shane talk about the disclaimer.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Colorado, D.C., Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Louisiana, Maryland, Mississippi, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, Wyoming. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 Massachusetts. 21 plus to wager. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP Arizona, 1-800-522-4700 Nevada, 1-800-BETS-OFF Iowa, 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help Michigan, 1-800-981-0023 Puerto Rico in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. U.S. promotional offers not available in D.C., Kansas, Nevada, New York, or Ontario.
I know it's hot, but Sean actually wore a hockey jersey to work yesterday. He wore his All-Star jersey. And I feel like it's a vibe in the summer. I know it's really hot, but if you're not really outside much, that and some sunglasses, it's a look. Especially if those sunglasses are Shady Rays, which we saw Petey in yesterday on the hammock. I rock my Shady Rays every single day, and I have to tell you, I like throw them in my purse, throw them in my car. They're super durable. They're great, fantastic styles, and no matter what style you like in sunglasses, no matter what colors, Shady Rays has options for you, and they really do stand by their products. You can exchange or return for free within 30 days. There's absolutely no risk when you shop, and we got a great deal for you to take advantage of. If you haven't yet, just go on and order. It's just good to have a bunch of different pairs of sunglasses around. And right now, exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. You can go to shadyrays.com and use code PHNX for 50% off 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 250,000 people. All right. Last segment. You know the drill. It's Weekend Binge. Who wants to start?
DP.
Sean.
More Diamondbacks baseball because the Diamondbacks are back and we are a wagon. Definitely going to continue eastbound and down. And maybe if I feel up to it, I'll finally watch the third. Well, I have to watch Avengers Endgame so I can watch The Last Guardians of the Galaxy. So maybe I'll do a little Marvel movie binge. We'll see. Yeah.
Great. I'll go next.
Okay.
You'll be glad to know I finished Love Island UK this week. It's over. I finished all 65, 66, including the reunion episodes. I literally finished the reunion this morning. So you don't have to hear about it until the next season, which it can't come soon enough, in my opinion. But my real Weekend Binge, I mentioned this last week, so much so that Petey actually texted me about it this week. My favorite comedian, his name is Jared Freed. Did you like it?
Yeah, it was good.
He put out.
He was funny.
Yeah, he put out a special on Netflix. It's called 37 and Single. Talks about being 37 and
relationships,
single, relationships,
ick.
Dating apps, the ick, gender reveal parties, having body image issues.
Funny, easy to watch.
Parents, it's just about an hour. It's hilarious. I've been listening to Jared for 5 years now, and it's really been cool to watch his career grow. So I feel kind of a sense of pride because I've just been following him forever. It is a great special. It's not super raunchy. I watched it with my mom. We were both dying laughing. So
if you want to laugh
this weekend, check it out.
Can I ask you about that?
Single. Yeah,
because I watched it. So when you said you're dying laughing, do you laugh out loud at comedians?
Yes, I do feel like watching it with someone else helps. Because if I was just alone, I might have chuckled, but I don't know.
I've never laughed out loud.
Have you been to a comedy show?
Have you had a wink before watching?
I've been to a comedy show. I've been to Dane Cook live in a thing. I've been to comedy houses. I don't ever laugh out loud.
Because
I've never laughed out loud.
Not even on Wink or OGs?
No, not at a comedian. I've laughed out loud over shit we say because we're funny, but I've never laughed at a comedian and go, yeah, I get it. It's funny.
I feel like
that's true. I don't. Is that a
John
problem?
Mulaney makes me laugh out loud.
Well,
no, I like it. He's funny. I go, oh, that's funny.
I feel like I always laugh out loud more when I'm at a comedy show than watching a special.
Been to a handful, never laughed.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I know I've for sure laughed. Maybe you just haven't been to the right shows.
I want to laugh. I want to enjoy it with other people because they think it's funny. I think inside I go, I can reason. Okay, that's funny. I like it. I thought that show was funny. I didn't laugh. It was funny.
All right.
I'm sorry. I got nothing. I'm going to watch Nick Smoltz all weekend, apparently. Because apparently there's a lot to do that. And I watch it. You know what I got stuck on yesterday? If you guys know the app Pluto TV, it's free app, free TV. Streams tons of stuff. It's free. By the way, I don't know if you mentioned, it's free. Okay. I got stuck on the Dateline channel. And the Dateline channel is exactly what it sounds like. It's 24/7 of Dateline. That's it. Dateline, one after the other. And you get watching those and you're like, oh my God. It's another story. That pesky DNA. And you're like, oh my God, in another murder in Iowa. Like, yes, please, let's watch it.
Probably
so I got stuck
names.
on that. Probably names. I got stuck on that. So that's my weekend.
Sorry, Patrick.
What do you have?
After the
Still
meat
watching
party.
Dark Winds. Big fan of that show. Shot on the Navajo Nation. I don't know if you guys watch nature specials. My kids love nature specials, and David Attenborough's like the greatest narrator of
The GOAT.
Yeah, he is. He's like he's who everyone wants to be their grandfather.
The captain of narrating.
Seriously. So watching we just finished watching Our Planet 2. So I would recommend that. And then a DP rec, I watched They Clone Tyrone and laughed my ass off. That
Okay, I'll put it on this weekend.
That is, it's just a terrific movie.
I've seen the trailer. I'm in.
Fox was
Jamie Foxx is incredible.
I'm in.
Speaking of things to take OGs and wink before, is like stuff like Our Planet. I've done that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Another recommendation: the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie.
What?
The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. It was a fun
Sean
watch.
did a G-rated.
It was
on it. So
really
check it out.
fun watch.
You know, another problem I have. That G-rated.
What do you mean?
They never watch any shit I watch. Like, when's the last Murder, She Wrote G-rated by Joe
well,
Bourdain?
we do new things, not things that have been out for 50 years, Pete.
Well, I'm not going to watch new stuff.
Well, then that's, I mean,
Well, you
that seems
missed
like a you
Columbo.
problem.
You watched The Bear, but you missed
G-rated BritBox version.
Gerald's grandfather
BritBox
filmed
edition. You should do the BritBox edition.
We should get Gerald's
Columbo
dad.
G-rated.
Me and I can do Columbo.
There you go.
I wonder if Gerald's dad's media guy.
Let me get this
I got
straight.
one more thing. Just one more thing. If you know, you know.
Boy.
Oh, man.
Boy. All right. We got to wrap it up here. It's been too much. Check out Foco.com if you're looking for the best Arizona sports gear around. Most of the stuff on our set, it's courtesy of Foco, especially in our commish studio. Great apparel, great accessories, toys, collectibles, novelty items, whatever your thing is, Foco has it. You can search your favorite team, including college teams as well. They have a ton of ASU and U of A stuff on there. So check them out. They have your back for Arizona sports. You can get the best gear around by visiting Foco.com. That's FOCO.com and using code PHNX. And for all non-presale items, use promo code PHNX for 10% off. And lastly, become a diehard today. It's a great time to become a diehard. Craig yesterday went over our schedule for next week and all the amazing stuff we have planned. It's a ton, and we're always
It's a great
week?
show. It's a great week of shows.
Yes,
Yeah. Well, including Nick Schmaltz.
Nick Schmaltz
Another
breakdown.
Petey's Puck Talk on
Jason
Nick Schmaltz.
Zucker's joining the show. Sean Dursey's joining the show.
Pete Jensen is joining the
You got
show.
something
And then
special on Friday.
Friday.
Yeah, we're not revealing that yet.
Do I get to know?
Friday. Just to
I really
let
don't
you
care. I'll
know,
just show up. Is it here?
I generally produce a lot of written copy. I haven't the last couple weeks. I'm working on something that takes a lot of legwork.
Oh,
but
it's that show.
it'll be worth it.
It's
Yeah.
gonna be hilarious.
A week from
yeah.
today, that story will drop, and then we'll talk about
It's
a
that
similar
show.
topic. A similar topic on the show. Yeah.
I'm in.
Yeah, it's gonna,
That's
be,
good.
it's gonna be a
That's
lot
gonna
of
be
fun.
good. Is that and that's following a written story?
Yeah.
On that topic.
Yes.
Yeah. The written story will post that morning.
Oh, buddy. I'm
And-
all in.
Yeah.
It's going to be a really good one. We just have a ton of stuff planned. And as we mentioned yesterday, Craig and I will be going to Australia. So we'll have content from there as well. So it never stops. Become a diehard support.
And I'll be in
support the
Wichita
cause.
while you guys are there
Yeah.
covering the Wichita
Yeah,
game.
you should.
You'll,
You should go to
yeah.
Wichita.
Good Lord. And of course,
Are
check
you
out
guys going to be gone when they're in Tucson?
No, we'll be back for that game.
Tucson's in October. So check
How long
out
are you gone?
like literally 9 days.
It depends on how you view the calendar.
True.
because of-
It's technically 7, but 9 in total days.
9 in real time, but
Yeah.
7 in Australia
Yeah.
time.
we
Because you leave on a
literally
Thursday, get back on
arrive
a-
2 days after we take off.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Yes. it
I
is.
love that shit.
September
Mind bender.
17th doesn't exist. Happy birthday, Austin Matthews. I'm telling you now because we won't. It won't
You'll miss
exist
his
for us.
birthday? You're gonna
It'll-
leave the 16th and land on the 18th?
Yeah.
God, that's cool shit.
Anywho, check out phnxlocker.com, of course, as well. We have new Coyotes shirt coming soon, so keep your eye out there as well. Anything else before we get out of here? All right.
Nope. Ready for the meat party.
See you guys tonight. It's going to be a blast. Thank you all so much for watching on YouTube. Be sure to hit the like button on this video. Please, there are more of you watching than we have likes. So hit the like, hit the thumbs up. We see you when the thumbs up come in. It's
We do.
very
We know
validating
who
and
does it and
rewarding.
who doesn't.
Yeah, it's like a little boop hope, and it just makes me very happy. So do that, and you can of course listen to this show wherever you get your podcasts if that's more your speed. But you can follow all of us on Twitter in the meantime at SPeters Hockey, at Leah Merrill, at Craig S. Morgan, at Sean_DePods. Follow the show at PHNX_Coyotes. We are 8 followers away from 5,300, so help us get there.
How many?
8.
I don't have 8 friends. That's
Okay.
gonna help out.
Enjoy the rest of your Friday, everyone. Enjoy your weekend, and we will see everybody on Monday.